And there's, of course, no guarantee with the variance application. I mean, the thing that we would be saying there is, we're not changing the condition on the conditional use permit that was granted that says you have to get a parking plan approved by the city. It's just saying that we're gonna, I mean, you have to grant the variance to the requirement, so.
So we can't put additional conditions on the conditional use that we granted them already? Amend it?
You can amend to add additional conditions, but we're not really talking about adding conditions, we're talking about eliminating something that's required in the ordinance. I mean, if we would have said something like, you know, you have to paint the house blue, you could change it to say paint the house green or something, and that's kind of ridiculous, but you know, we're not talking about an extra condition that we added on it, we're talking about something that was already required in the ordinance, the parking standards.
And we're voting for a variance on that condition.
Yeah, well, I mean, not tonight, you're not voting on that.
Yeah.
No,
Recommending
that's
a
what the
variance.
discussion is.
I mean, in the long run, if you think that the ordinance needs to be clarified in some way, then maybe that's the route to go, but it's not gonna help them immediately.
We've waited a few years.
Many years.
I think what I'm feeling from this commission is we're trying to find a way to allow the Lundbergs to continue their work both as a bed and breakfast and with the additional food service. Trying to make that work.
And I think a variance for the number of parking spots would do that, would allow to do that, right?
It would, I mean, you have to be thinking about other people that might ask for the same thing. You know, is there something unique about this property that requires it, or is there something that you would, could be argued by everybody that has been breakfast with additional food service?
Not that this matters, is it historical?
Yeah. Well, definitely, that's what I was wondering, is it just
So-
the building,
Yeah.
or would it be the grounds?
Picture of the house.
Well, I know, yeah, I know where, it's a beautiful
Used to be
home, and I know
purple,
you guys
and
have
now
done
It's
a lot of work.
historic, it's unique.
So that could, and I think we had discussed that at one time, if we.
Well, we've also discussed during variances, is there a hardship? Is there things like that pertaining to it where a variance would be required? Then you'd have to argue, what's the hardship? So this is something I feel we're not ready to make a decision tonight. We could recommend to the city council that we look into a variance, have the attorney look at it, maybe contact the League of Minnesota Cities, what their input is pertaining to something like this. We don't want to open up a can of worms, in other words. And I wouldn't feel comfortable in myself just giving a flat out variance or something right now. I need a little more information.
Is there
Again,
some,
you're not granting the variance.
No, just a recommendation.
You have to have a separate public hearing.
Yeah.
is there some way we can continue this so that the Lundbergs can continue operation without being in violation?
Can we get an extension
That's what
Yeah.
I don't know if there's,
until something,
We sort this out, yeah.
Yes.
that's what I'm asking. Are we allowed to do that?
I think he's already.
I think ultimately it's something I would want, you know, between now and the council meeting, check in with the city attorney or something like that to make sure. I mean, technically, the way the ordinance reads now, it says variance conditional use, another permit may be suspended until a later time, which basically means they wouldn't be able to have a tea party in the interim.
But could you amend the, what was it, conditional number 2?
Conditional use permit.
The condition you put, condition number 2 on there that said the parking plan should be approved by the city. Did it have a date or not?
Didn't give it.
Didn't give a date.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you can do that. Give them another, whatever, more time. Figure this out,
I
I
think
guess.
they deserve some time, being along the way, so patiently with us when we get it back. But
I think I have a what needs to happen tonight is you either need to revoke or suspend or amend our conditional use permit tonight. So since I'm hoping you're not gonna revoke it or suspend it, what needs to happen is that you're gonna amend our conditional use so that we don't have the food service anymore until the ordinance can be revisited and the allowance put in there for us to use the parking we have for both uses. Because you can't amend the ordinance. You can only amend the ordinance that we have. And we have one of two possible ordinances. So change it so we don't have the conditional use permit that allows for food service.
So that would eliminate your food service altogether.
That's the only way I can see you can legally do this today.
No, we could extend the conditional use permit, can't we?
That's not what it says on here.
Well, okay, so you can, sanctions may include, but are not limited to, revocation, suspension, or amendment. I think if you were to suspend it, you would basically be saying, for now, you cannot have additional food service. And then we'd have to kind of define more what changes that situation in the future. And the only benefit of that, I guess, which is not small, but the benefit of that would be the conditional use would still sort of be there. So it's potentially ready to be implemented again once something changes, if anything. If you revoke it, you're just saying, okay, well, we're going to revoke it, maybe the ordinance will change later, maybe it won't. If it changes, maybe it's going to require a whole additional use permit that you have to go through a public hearing again. Or maybe it's just going to become a permitted use, we don't know at this point what the for that.
I guess my question
You
here
amended
is,
that.
it's saying the sanctions may include but not limited to. So does that give us some flexibility?
I think we'd have to talk about what the other possibilities would be. I mean, you
Well, I
can't
think we're
grant a
talking
variance
about-
to the ordinance.
No, but I think we're talking about just extending business as usual until it gets
Would that be an
sorted
amendment?
out.
Or would that just be a continuation of the conditional use permit?
Well, I think you'd have to be, maybe what Greg was saying before, is you'd have to give a longer time frame to comply with the conditions.
Would that
than
be
the
an
1 year that
amendment?
they were given.
That's what I'm saying, could we amend it to extend it for 6 months? That should give us time to look at it and hold the necessary public hearings. It takes 30 days just to get a public hearing done.
Right, yeah. To me, that's essentially suspending it. You're suspending it for 6 months. If what you're saying is in the interim, in those 6 months, timeframe, you can't have the additional food service.
So I was trying to let them have their food service.
But I guess that's why I'm saying
That's
extending.
Yeah.
I say extend it instead of suspend it,
So that they.
because we're not limited to just those three options.
Okay.
And
Yeah, then, okay, I'm sorry, yeah, then you're,
Yeah.
then you're basically, yeah, extending the time frame for which they have.
And we're just recommending this. It's not like we're, the
Right.
city council will be acting upon this probably at the next. And if there's more information that comes out between now and then, like we're discussing, talking to our attorney or the League of Minnesota Cities and that, no, the city council can hear that information then. Then they can make the decision upon that.
When is
So,
the city council meeting, Monday?
we meet next Monday, so that's another week.
Yeah,
So anyway, we can give a recommendation that they extend
The conditional use permit.
conditional use permit,
Motion for that?
and then that can go before the city council and they can make a decision at that point. You can have the other information in hand and make their decision a whole lot easier.
So I'll make a motion that we make a recommendation to extend the conditional use permit.
Extend the time frame when they have to.
For how long?
Or become.
Is that-
For
I
how
think
long?
it's 6 months.
I would think 6 months would be appropriate, wouldn't it?
It's gonna take a month or more just to look at it,
Yeah.
and then a month to get,
Yeah.
get some wiggle room. Give us some wiggle room.
Do you think 6 months is plenty of time?
Oh, that's up.
Six months, would put that-
Well, no,
Well,
Six
She's gonna
months
say
would put
no.
the end of it right in the middle of our really busy season. So if you could go 12, it would bring it to this time next year when things are slowing down and we have more time to.
yeah, I'm looking for how everything can work out here,
Yeah.
so.
Took a year and a half for us to address it last
Yeah.
time, so.
yeah, and that's the thing, a year would be the outside edge, like you said, if it's done in 6 months, we're good. If not
It's done
done,
in
Yeah.
3 months or 4 months.
yeah.
To try.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we recommend extension of the conditional use permit for 12 months.
Second.
That isn't really, obviously, we're not answering the question, but at least we're giving us time to answer it
And
correctly.
then you can run business into your.
Yeah. And that will, yeah, that will allow you to plan for the next year, basically.
And the city council just might reject everything we recommend.
That's possible.
And,
And maybe a tree will die and you can put a parking spot.
So this motion would allow them to continue having the additional food service during that time period?
Yes.
Correct. In the next 12 months?
Yes.
You're
Basically,
looking for us to seek input from the city attorney and/or the Minnesota City?
Yes.
Yes.
Or
Please.
relevant
Question
relevant
about
Please.
either or.
And it's in regards, I mean, it's essentially in regards to the parking requirement.
Yes.
Building inspection requirements are in that.
We got 17 minutes.
Okay, we heard the motion, the seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carries.
so that will be presented to the city council next Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have one more to
Business.
cover.
We left a lot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, open up the third public hearing
Even though I've
Justin.
been there.
at 7:55. Ordinance amendments to section 1102